It's super early in the morning. It's night. It's all dark. Jesus is sleeping in the house of Peter. He sleeps out when everybody's sleeping and he goes into a solitary place to pray. We saw this last time in Mark 1:36. And then that morning, what happens? Peter gets up, all the disciple gets up, and Jesus is gone. Where is he? They start searching for him. And we said last time that Mark 1:36 is a foreshadow of the resurrection. It happened the same day, the first day after the Sabbath. Very early in the morning, when it's still dark, Jesus raises, gets up, foreshadowing the resurrection. And then what happens during the resurrection narrative? We know that the disciples start searching for him. And who is the first one that goes and runs to the empty tomb? Peter. Peter together with John, right? And here today we're going to analyze Mark 1:37, and we're going to keep on going with that parallelism of Peter running to the empty tomb and searching for Jesus. And we're going to bring in another parallelism from another gospel. Let's start reading Mark 1:37, very short verse. Kai euron auton, kai legusin auto, hoti pantes zetusinse. Now, the sentence is very simple. From a grammatical point of view, there is this verb here, eron, which is verb number one, followed by this direct object. Okay, so there's a kai, which is the and conjunction. Then there is another kai, another and you get that verb number two. Okay, followed by basically the same pronoun, but in a different case, right? Auton, auto, all right? Because this is to whom they are talking, all right? Then you have this hoti, where we're going to see is just a conjunction. And this is the direct speech from Peter and the disciples, all right? And they say pantes, which is the subject, zetuzin, which is the verb number three, and then se, which is the direct object. So very simple from a grammatical point of view. All right, let's start translating. Kai and usual conjunction. Verb number one, euron. Now, euron comes from the verb eurisco, all right? So the verb eurisco means to find, to find. It's a very important verb. It's an irregular verb. Heron is in the aorist tense, and we're talking about the third person plural. Okay, so third person plural. Remember that in Mark 1:36, we were talking about Peter in the singular, okay, starts searching and hunting down Jesus. And together with him, he had other disciples, other people, unspecified. Here, Mark moves from the third person singular to the third person plural. Now it's not Peter alone, it's the whole thing, okay, the whole group of people. And they found, right? And they found, auton is the personal pronoun that we've seen many times in the masculine singular in the accusative case, okay, because it's a direct object. They found him, all right? So finally, after searching all morning, they found him, okay? And they found him, kai, and look what happens here. This is verb number two, legusin. This comes from the verb lego, which we've seen many times so far, which is a simple to say, is a verb to say. Now, this is a third person plural, all right? So it agrees with the third person plural, heron, but there's a difference. Heron is in the aorist tense, sort of past tense. Legacy is a present tense. Okay, this is very typical of Mark. He jumps from the past to the present, not because he doesn't know the grammar or he mixes up tenses, but because Mark is so good at narrating and he wants us to be there present in the event that he's narrating. This is like a rhetorical tool that he uses all the time. And if you use the present to describe an event that happened in the past, you make it more real. Okay, this is what happened. And they found him and they tell him. You see, it seems like Mark projects it right there in the midst of the disciples. They now are talking as if they were real here today, all right, right now. And you have this auto that we already mentioned is the same personal pronoun as auton in a different case. So this one was in the accusative case. Auto, you see this omega with the iota subscript, is in the dative case. So indicates to whom the action is referring to. So, and they found him and they tell him. All right. And they found him and they tell him what? Well, hoti, probably we've seen it a couple of times before. It's a conjunction that technically means that. They say that and introduces a direct speech. So we can basically ignore it and just imagine that there's some quotation mark here. Okay, it's just a way to indicate that now from this moment on, these are the words that they speak. That's exactly what they told him. All right. So and they found him and they tell him what? Pantes zetusinse. All right. Pantes, we've seen it. It means all. All right. So it's in the nominative case, masculine plural. All right. It's the subject. All, everybody. Okay. Everybody, zetusinse. Now, this verb, it's in conjugated in the present tense, and it's in the third person plural, of course, because it agrees with the subjects, with it, which is plural, everybody, all. And the verb zeteo means to look for, okay, to search for. And it's not just searching or looking for something, is looking for something that you lost. So it's a looking for something with some kind of agitation, with some kind of concern, because you lost something or somebody in this case that is very precious to you. All right. So these verbs indicates some anxiety, okay, around the action. It's not just that you're looking, okay, let me look for something that I need. No, it's looking for something that you lost. Okay, here for a brief period of time, Peter and his and his companions had lost Jesus, had lost track of him, and they got very anxious. They got very anxious, and this is what this verb is trying to tell us. So they are expressing all their frustration before Jesus. They're like, why did you leave us? Everybody is searching for you. All right. And this se is the you. All right. So it's the second person singular of the personal pronoun singular in the accusative case, right? Because it's a object, right? Everybody looks or is looking for you. So this present tense here is used in a present continuous form. Everybody's looking for you. Where are you? Where did you go? Why did you leave us? All right. So this is the translation of the sentence. And they found him and they tell him, everybody's looking for you. All right, so where's this other parallelism other than the resurrection and Peter running to the tomb and finding it empty? Well, it comes from actually the beginning of the Gospels. Okay, so the resurrection is the end of the Gospel, and it's recounted, for example, in the Gospel of John, where we see that there's Peter and John himself that run to the tomb. But now let's go back to the very beginning of the story of Jesus. Okay, when we found it in the Gospel of Luke, and you probably already figured it out. It's when Jesus is still a young boy, 12 years old. The episode is known, very famous. Mary and Joseph take him to Jerusalem, and then the moment they are coming back from Jerusalem, they think he is with them. But then, after one day of travel, they realize that he's not there. And so they become desperate. They think for a moment that they lost their son. And so they run back to Jerusalem. They start searching like crazy. They lost their son. Think about, this is the biggest nightmare of every parent, losing sight of their kids and not being able to find them. Right. So with that anxiety, Mary and Joseph started searching for their little, not even teenager boy in the big city of Jerusalem. Okay, hundreds of thousands of people. And after 3 days, they find him in the temple. Think about searching for your son for 3 days. Like, imagine the desperation, imagine the anxiety. Okay. And in fact, we know very well what his mother tells him when she finds him. Luke 2:48. Teknon, she says, son, tie poiesa sumin hutos. Why did you do this to us? Idu, behold, hopatersu, your father, kago, and I, odunomenoi. This verb, it's a participle. It has the root of the pain that a mother feels when she's about to give birth. Okay, that's what Mary's trying to tell Jesus. We have been in pain. Okay, we have been in pain. Ezetumen say, in pain, with those pains that a mother feels during those hours that she's giving birth. We have been searching for you. Look at this. It's etumense, and look what Mark says. Zetuzinse is exactly the same verb, the verb zeteo. It's the verb of looking for with the most extreme anxiety because you lost something very precious to you. Okay. It's the same type of reaction. Okay. His mother and his father had lost him for 3 days. And when they found him, they're so relieved, but also so distressed that they need to let him know everybody was searching for you, or we have been searching for you. And that's exactly what Peter and his companion tell Jesus. The first thing they say is, everybody's searching for you. Where are you? Where are you hiding? Why are you hiding from us? We just saw that this reaction of Peter and his companion, everybody's searching for you, is exactly the same reaction that Mary had when she found his son after 3 days of searching. 3 days, you probably caught that, right? That's a foreshadowing of the 3 days between the crucifixion and the resurrection, where Jesus' disciples thought that they had lost Jesus forever, right? So you see how all these pieces come together. Mary and Joseph searching for Jesus 3 days and then telling him, we were searching for you. And then those 3 days are a foreshadowing of Jesus' death and burial for 3 days. And then Mark 1:36, Jesus raises in the first day after the Sabbath, Sunday, early in the morning when it's still dark. That's a foreshadowing of the resurrection. And then Peter running and searching for him everywhere. That's a foreshadowing of what Peter is going to do after he knows from Mary Magdalene that the tomb is empty. Peter runs to the tomb and starts searching for Jesus. Okay? And so in Mark 37, we close the loop where Peter says, everybody's searching for you. And that comes back to the same words that Mary spoke to Jesus. Why have you done this to us? We were searching for you in pain.